Howdy, folks. I'm Odysseus.
I'm Amber.
Princess Buttercup. And here's Nobody. So let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Poisoning My Nephew? No. Poison all the nephews. Amber's shaking her head now. My sister and nephew stopped by as they were running errands and asked to borrow my husband's leaf blower. That's where the trouble begins. I was looking for it in the basement, and my sister went into the bathroom, leaving my 7-year nephew in the living room. He went into my bedroom and opened up my nightstand and ate some of my iron gummies. My sister found him and rushed him to the ER since we weren't sure how many he ate. He's 7! He can count by now, hopefully. He stayed 3 days in the children's hospital for monitoring and was given a drug to make him not absorb the iron. Luckily, he's okay now and is totally recovered. My sister is mad at me for not telling her that there were iron gummies in my house. I feel terrible about it, but it's not like I remember to tell every visitor I have that I have iron gummies in my bedroom, like she should have been watching my nephew. She and I haven't spoken much since the accident. What do you folks think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. I think that they're not the jerk either, and here's why. Your nephew should have, your nephew's 7, and at that age, they should know better than to, 1, steal stuff from people's houses, and 2, eat stuff without permission. The fact of the matter is that your sister should have been watching her child and not letting him sneak around your house, stealing your stuff here. So she's trying to pin this blame on you, but you're not the one to blame here. She is. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, your nephew poisoned himself. 7 years old is more than enough to understand that you don't put stuff you find in your mouth. 7 is also old enough to know to not go into someone's private bedroom and rifle through their things. Not the jerk. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Acting Unhappy at Me and My Wife's Gender Reveal? My wife is 7 months pregnant. It came to a complete surprise, as my wife had been taking birth control regularly. We had originally planned not to have any kids, but my wife changed her mind after her first ultrasound. I respected her decision, even if I wasn't the happiest about it. I told her that regardless, I wasn't going to force her to make a decision. We had a gender party late because of the issues with the pandemic, but we finally got around to it. I was already not happy given the circumstances, and I didn't want to have any children. I still participated to show support to my wife, though. Once the gender reveal happened, everyone, including my wife, was ecstatic. She went to hug me, and I hugged her back, just with not the same energy. She looked at me concerned, but went off to hug some of her friends and family. Once it was over, we got everything put up, and she blew up at me. Said that I embarrassed her in front of her family, and the least I could have done was pretend to care. I told her I didn't really see a point in throwing a party just because of the gender, but she wanted to do it, so I agreed. She said that she understood that I didn't really want to have a baby, but that since they were almost here, I should probably lose the attitude already. I responded by saying that since she knew I didn't want a baby, she shouldn't be surprised that I wasn't enjoying the baby shower. She supposedly thought that the baby shower would change my mind, but was upset that it hadn't. I told her that I wasn't going to apologize for simply not showing any emotion, and that she needed to give me time to adjust, especially with the kid on the way. Am I the jerk? Edit, we used condoms, and I was denied a vasectomy by my doctor. What do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Kind of a jerk.
Amber thinks kind of a jerk. You know,
Complicated.
this is a complicated situation. I certainly understand him being upset. The fact of the matter is that this is complicated. He needs time to adjust, but he also should be there and supporting his wife. I have a feeling that he wasn't just like a little and unenergetic. I have a feeling that he was moping around. And the thing is this, OP, if you want to support your wife, then you need to be there to support her. If you don't want to have kids and this isn't the path that you want, then you need to decide whether this relationship is the right relationship for you. So You can't halfway support your wife. You need to either support her or you need to move on. So that's kind of how I feel about the situation. I don't know. What do you folks think? I don't really think this is a question about who's the jerk. I think your world is changing dramatically in a way which you weren't prepared for, and that therapy is almost definitely required. It's not wrong to be freaked out, but you've decided to go ahead with this, and now you need to find a way to come to terms with it, ideally before the kid arrives, so you can parent your child to the fullest and best way possible. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for applauding my neighbor's nighttime activities? A few nights ago, my wife and I were woken up by the neighbors in the apartment above ours very explicitly and loudly trying to expand their family. They must have been going at it for an hour, and it was fairly frustrating as I had to work the next day. After they were done, I played an applause track through my Bluetooth speaker held up to the ceiling to make them aware of the relative thinness of the floors. I found out today that they have reported me to management for harassment. So Reddit, am I the jerk? Alright, OP, maybe it was a little bit jerkish in this situation, but I can't blame you also. Like, they should have been a little more considerate about their activities in the middle of the night. And if they were that loud to even go through the floor, I mean, clearly they weren't being considerate at all. So I'm going to say that probably everyone's a little bit of a jerk in this situation. But yeah, I honestly can't blame you too much. So I know, what do you folks think? Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, I think I would have done the same, while the other half would have been doing his best Mortal Kombat finish him impressions at the top of their lungs. Either that or making some noises to join in with them. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for making my girlfriend throw away her platform boots? I'm a 22-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 23-year-old female, and we have been dating for some time and things have been going well aside from one big issue: height. Pun intended, I hope. I'm 5'11" and she's 5'8 and a half. I know this doesn't sound too bad, but she wears platform boots that make her at least 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1". This wouldn't be a problem for me if I wasn't insecure about my height, and to make things worse, she always makes jokes and comments about my height even though I told her that I'm insecure. All of this came to a head last night, when we got into a huge argument because she said that she was embarrassed to go out with me while she wears her platform boots because I look too short next to her. I said that she shouldn't wear her boots then, but she said that she had to because it was part of her outfit. In the end, I got so mad that without thinking, I took all of her platform boots and put them into a bin outside of our apartment. We are not on speaking terms at the moment. I get that she's upset, but I feel like her boots were really getting in the way of our relationship, and I feel like things between us could not improve with her still wearing them regularly. Am I the jerk? Alright, OP, so let me get this straight. Your girlfriend torments you, constantly teases you about about being short, and you're insecure about this, and she continues to pick at something that you're insecure about, but you're still with her. So, I don't know, OP, I think that you should have probably left her long before tossing out her stuff. I think that if this bothers you this much, maybe you two aren't compatible. She's harassing you about something that you can't control, and you threw away her stuff. So I think that everyone's kind of a jerk in this situation. You know, if she complains about you being too short, there's two things that you can do. Either one, buy a pair of stilts, or two, buy a pair of platform boots. Next time you go out, get onto your stilts and make sure that she's embarrassed that you're 10 feet tall. I mean, if she's gonna complain, you may as well, lean into it. That's my thoughts. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Throwing them into a bin isn't making her throw them away, it's throwing them away. You're the jerk if you don't feel comfortable being with her because of her height, or she isn't okay because of yours. Then the boots, like the Iranian yogurt, these are not the problem. I don't think I get that. Everyone's the jerk. She kept making fun of his height, and he binned her shoes. Bin the girlfriend, not the shoes that you don't own. OP potentially opened himself up to legal liability. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my mom out for lying to us? The weekend of the 11th was horrible weekend for my family. My older sister, a 23-year-old female, was in a head-on collision on the night of the 10th. She was airlifted to a hospital 30 miles away. My mom, a 40-year-old female, moved to Arizona in March. My sister and I, a 20-year-old female, still live in Washington. My mom called me Saturday morning while I was running errands to tell me about my sister's accident. I dropped my groceries at home and went to see my sister. On the way to the hospital, I was also in a car accident. It totaled my car and I was taken to another hospital. Aside from bruising and a concussion, I'm fine. On Sunday morning, my mom flew up here to see us because her friend paid for her ticket and her hotel room. Her hotel is a block away from the hospital my sister was at. She called me when she landed. She said a friend had picked her up and they were coming to see me. My entire body was in pain, but I went to get dressed in something that wouldn't hurt my bruises and tried to brush my hair. I couldn't lift my arms very high, so that didn't go very well. After I was finally ready, I get a text from her saying that she couldn't come to see me because she had to see my sister before her friend had to do other things, which was disappointing, but I understood since my sister was much more injured than I was. I talked to my sister the next day, and she said that mom never went to see her. Come to find out that she never checked into her hotel room, and she spent the entire 3 days that she was here with her friends instead of her injured kids. So I texted her asking why she never went to the hospital. She goes off on me telling me that I'm a jerk because I didn't have a car to take her to the hospital and back, and even though my car was totaled. So I called her out and told her that she was lying to the both of us about coming here for us when she really came here for herself. And she talked to my sister and ended up yelling at her and made her cry because my sister asked my mom when she was going to come see her. My sister has 8 broken ribs and was incredibly painful for her to be crying and so upset. I don't think I'm a jerk here, but my mom is off telling anyone who will listen how horrible and selfish and ungrateful I am and how awful I was for treating her when she came up here for us. So, am I the jerk? Tiny update. I contacted the friend that paid my mom's ticket and hotel room, over $1,300, and she was really mad. She wasn't upset at me at all and thanked me for letting her know. I told her that I'm done and let her know that my sister is doing better. Not sure what she'll do next. Maybe she's going to yell at my mom about lying to her as well. So, what do you folks think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. I say not the jerk. What is wrong with your mom? She came up here and then berated you for not being able to drive her around while you were in the hospital or not having a car because it was totaled. What is wrong with your mom? No, your mom is totally a jerk. She's out partying while you and your sister are in the hospital. No. Your mom's a jerk, and I am sure that she's lost the trust of her friend who loaned her $1,300 to come up, or gave her $1,300 to come up here. So yeah, I don't know. This is just unfathomably selfish of your mom. So yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. I hope you and your sister get better. Not the jerk. How on earth did she think that she was going to get away with lying? And OP replies, I'm not really sure. She lied to everyone and then cussed out whoever called her out on it, including her own mom, who either visited or called my sister every day while she was in the hospital. My sister is at her house right now because she was discharged last Saturday. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for choosing not to celebrate my grandmother's 81st birthday or let her meet my baby? I'm a 22-year-old female and my grandmother is about to be 81 this year. Little background, my grandfather passed away 6 years ago of cancer. My grandma was so depressed, she decided to sell all of her belongings, including the family home where she lived, and moved in with her daughter, a 47-year-old female. She's been bouncing around living in Arizona, California, and Colorado. About 6 months ago, she stayed with my family and I'm in Colorado. I stayed at home and I was pregnant at the time, so I was spending a lot of time with her. I would invite her to go out with me so she wouldn't have to stay at home all day, but she wouldn't want to. Every day when the family would come over, she would complain that I don't take her anywhere and I don't help her with anything like reaching high shelves. I caught wind of it when my sister told me. I was mad, but I didn't say anything. One day I got home from grocery shopping and I caught her leaving my room. I went to my room and I opened my safe and I had found that $3,000 were missing. I confronted her and she denied everything. Later that day, I stopped by her room and caught her counting money. $3,000 to be exact. I immediately called my aunt and told her to come pick up her mother. When I hung up the phone, my grandmother proceeded to tell me that she was going to act like she doesn't remember a thing and that I'm accusing her of something that she didn't do so that I can steal from my husband and go on and be an inappropriate word. 2 days later, my aunt came home and took my grandmother back to California. Hotel California. Present time, my mother called me 3 days ago asking me what time my flight to California was because it was almost my grandmother's birthday. I said I wasn't going to go because I don't want to see my grandmother and I don't want to bring my newborn son around that kind of person. I have now been getting calls from my family members and blocked numbers calling me names and saying that I'm a POS. Am I the jerk? OP, the only thing I think that you could have done a little bit differently in this situation would have been to document everything and, make sure that you got your side of the story out to everybody. The thing is that people in your family would have had no reason not to believe you, and I think that you should have really given people your side of the story and before, doing something like this. And now people aren't going to believe you because you didn't basically tell the story first. So I don't think you're a jerk in this situation. I think your grandma is, and I can't blame you for going no contact with her for stealing $3,000 from you. So yeah, anyhow, not the jerk and good luck. Not the jerk, I don't know why the elderly do this. I hope I never do this in 60 years. This is actually the first time I'm hearing about this. I don't know that this is something I've heard of. Optimistically, it's because of dementia. Realistically, it's probably because grandma is not a good person and enjoys the powers that she has by bullying OP without having to face any consequences. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.